I've learned in life that nothing is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." Now, I'm sure you've been told, whether it's in school, applying to college, choosing a major, deciding what you want to do in life, people have always told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you have something to fall back on, honey. But I've never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. At least that way, I figure I'll see what I'm going to hit. You never finish anything without being consistent. So, do what you have a passion for. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to think big. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball, but you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Music. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that because the 1,001st one was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before. But I want to talk to you about why that's so important. You will fail at some point in your life. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There is no doubt about it. And I know this is not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but I'm telling you, embrace it, because it is inevitable. In the acting business, you fail all the time. Early on in my career, I auditioned for a role in a Broadway musical. It was a perfect role for me, except for the fact that I can't sing. I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I went from there to prepare for the next audition and the next audition and the next audition. I prayed. And I prayed. And I prayed. But I continued to fail and fail and fail. But it didn't matter because you know what? There's an old saying. If you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later, you're going to get a haircut. So you're going to catch a break, and I did catch a break. Last year, I did a play called Fences on Broadway. But the point of the story is, it was at the same theater, the Court Theater, that I failed that first audition 30 years prior. The point is, every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the guts to fail? If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I just got back from South Africa. It's a beautiful country, but there are places. There's a terrible poverty there that needs your help. And Africa is just the tip of the iceberg. The Middle East needs your help. Japan needs your help. Alabama needs your help. Tennessee needs your help. Louisiana needs your help. Philadelphia needs your help. The world needs a lot, and we need it from you. We really do. We need it from you, the young people. So I'm not speaking for the rest of us up here, but I know I'm getting a little grayer. We need it from you, the young people. Because remember this, whether it is your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures, you have to go out and do what you can. What are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you are business majors. Some of you are theologians, nurses, sociologists. Some of you have money, some of you have patience, some of you have kindness, some of you have love, some of you have the gift of long suffering. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, what are you going to do with what you have? Okay, now my last point about failure. Sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're going. Your life will never be a straight path. I started out as a pre-med student at Fordham University. I took a course called Cardiac Morphogenesis. I couldn't read it, I couldn't say it, and I definitely couldn't pass it. Then I decided to go to law school, then journalism. And without any academic focus, my grades made a nosedive in their own direction. I had a 1.8 GPA, and the university very politely suggested it might be better to take some time off. I was 20 years old. I was at my lowest point. And then one day, and I remember the exact date, March 27th, 1975, I was helping my mother in her beauty shop. My mother owned a beauty shop in Mount Vernon, and there was an older woman who was considered one of the elders of the town. I didn't know her personally, but I was looking in the mirror, and every time I looked in the mirror, I could see her behind me looking at me. She just kept looking at me. Every time I looked, she was giving me these piercing stares. Finally, she took the dryer off her head and she said something I've never forgotten. She said, "Young man," she said, "I have a prophecy, a spiritual prophecy. You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." And in the years that followed, just as that woman prophesied, I have traveled the world and I have spoken to millions of people who've never seen me, to millions of people I've never met. As I'm talking to them and they can't see me, they can only see the movie. They can't see the real me. But I see you today, and I'm encouraged by what I see. I'm strengthened by what I see. Because taking a risk is not just about going for a job, it's also about knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's about being open to people and to ideas. The chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that is what's going to define you. Never be discouraged, never hold back. Give everything you've got. And when you fall throughout life, remember this: fall forward.